So can I get my modified 98cc 3-horse to do well over 50 miles an hour? So I have this 98cc 3-horse that I've did quite a bit to, but there's still some stuff I can do to make it even faster. So this 3-horse is running a billet flywheel, obviously, and then a 224, 231 cam with 22-pound springs, and then it has around 50 thousandths shaved off the head. Then we're running a 19mm carb with the intake, and then a header pipe. And then of course it has the internal and external governor removed. So I think I have the perfect bike for this 3-horse in the top secret mini bike stash. So I think I have a good frame in the mini bike stash that I think would make a good platform, a nice lightweight platform to be a 50 or 60 mile an hour bike with a 3-horse. So I have this Mega Moto 80-105 that I think will be a good starting point. Got my twist grip. Looks like I need a kill switch and some foot pegs, and then a brake because it's got that cable brake, and it looks like it might need a new seat. But other than that, I think this would be a good bike, or a good starting point anyway. This thing looks like it even has a clutch that I can use. And this is another one of those bikes in the mini bike stash that has a sweet paint job. I mean, it looks like they got overspray on everything. They even got overspray on the tires, which is kind of cool. So these tires are pretty hammered on this bike. I mean, they're pretty weather cracked. And on top of that, I'm gonna try to make it as light as possible. So I figure smaller tires might work a little bit better, smaller street tires. As far as speed goes, I think the little 3-horse, I'll have an easier time pulling street tires, like in the other 3-horse videos that I've done on the Rascal Light. Hey, these things are pretty worn out. So I might have to look in the tire stash. Actually might even swap out this wheel or this rim because it's all beat up right there. And this here will work, this rim, but I think I'll still swap out the tire. So I think I have some street tires over here. So I have one, like this one here. It's super wide, so I'm not sure if it'll fit on those wheels. So this here will fit on the front. And this is that super wide rear, 13 by 6.5 by 6. That thing is wide. I mean, they narrow out a little bit once you mount them, but I'm not sure if it'll fit on that wheel. So I'll probably end up doing a slick on the back, like the Rascal Light. Something like this bike here. You get the slick on the back and then the treaded tire on the front. So pretty much the same setup. Let's run over here to the top secret wheel stash and see if I can find something that's not bent or find something that's not tore up. So this one here would work. Looks a little bit wider, but it's still a 6-inch wheel. So that'd probably work. So another one just like it. Okay, so here's a nice one. That's not all bent up. You always pull the tire off here. Got a messed up valve stem, but that's okay. Looks a lot nicer than the one that came off of it. And then the tire tool makes easy work of these. Then you have the mounting tabs underneath here for mounting the tires. Go. Easy enough. So I'm pretty much trying to do this build with stuff that I have lying around here. So I found a 70 sprocket instead of the 75 that came on the bike. So this 70 sprocket has the same bolt pattern off of some other project that I had. And that's the 75 that came off this bike. So I figure I'll throw a 70 on there to maybe add a little bit of top speed, but I can't go too small with a 3-horse like I did in the other videos because it just doesn't have the torque to pull a lot of gear. So I think the 70 might be okay on here. And then I can adjust the gear ratio the rest of the way with the clutch. But the 70 is a little bit smaller. So we have us a roller now, but I did notice there's one thing I'm gonna have to change out. So I'm gonna have to make another trip out to the secret mini bike stash. When you look at these handlebars, they're just a little bit bent. Actually, quite a bit bent. So I'm pretty sure I got a decent set of bars out there in the mini bike stash. So we'll go see. Got a bunch of forks here. And I got quite a few sets of handlebars. So these here, Mega Moto 80, so that'll work right there. We got another set. Oh, they got a chrome set. Got a couple other sets. Maybe I'll throw this chrome set on there. And then while I'm here, I might as well look for a gas tank, because I need a gas tank for that thing. So I got about 212 gas tanks, a big block gas tank, and I have a 3-horse gas tank. I think this is the one that actually goes on that engine. So I think I'll just use that on there. And I'm pretty sure there's plenty of room on that frame for this, I think. So I got everything on there. Got the throttle on here. This is actually the old throttle. I just cleaned the paint off of it and then added some red grips. And I figured I'd add some red grips because I already have a red seat for this thing. And then the best part of this entire thing, which is going to definitely make it a lot faster, at least 5 miles per hour faster, is the sticker. But I still need to add some foot pegs on here. So the only foot pegs I could find that I have to kind of make fit on here are these, which I had lying around here. So we pretty much have a complete roller except for the brake. So I went ahead and threw a kill switch on here. So got that all ran down. And then my foot pegs turned out really good. They fold up. I had to shorten the metal right here and grind this off. But those worked out really good. So on the brake on this thing, I have this single piston caliper hydraulic brake, and it has a little bit bigger pad than the stock brake that came on here, or actually quite a bit bigger pad. So this will definitely work a lot better. But the thing is, it's not gonna fit on the stock mount. And then also, I might have to move this disc out a little bit because I'm not sure if this thing's gonna hit the tire. I mean, it's really close to that tire. So I'm gonna have to pull these bolts off here and throw some spacers behind them just to move the disc out a little bit away from the tire. But anyway, so I got the hydraulic handle and then the hose. So I threw a few spacers in here to move the disc out a little bit. So it looks like this brake will bolt to the bottom mount here with a spacer behind it, and it'll be pretty much in the right spot. The top mount, I think I can cut the stock mount here and cut this tab off here. So I'll pull this tire off and we'll see if I can do that off the bike. Man, this is gonna be a super easy brake install. So I'll cut this tab off here, and that way I can rotate this forward more. Cut that off there. All right, so I got my bracket ground off and I drilled a hole right on the tip there. So that should put it about where I need it. And then hopefully the other side will bolt up right there. So all I have to do is throw some shorter bolts in here and then put a small spacer between here and then a small spacer up under there. And we should be good to go.
A few minutes later.
And normally I would use my syringe, but my syringe is broke. I would just pump fluid in here and then up to the master cylinder, and it only takes a couple minutes. But since my syringe is broke, I'm gonna have to do it the old school way and pump the brakes. It's kind of cool this one has a sight glass, because some of them I get don't, especially when you're bleeding it, so I can see how far I'm down. So I'll throw this thing up on the stand and I'll see if I can get this 3-horse mounted on here. I'm not sure if the header pipe will fit with this frame or the carb intake. Right about here, it's kind of in alignment, and there is no way that carburetor is going to fit on there. Now the header pipe, on the other hand, is a little bit closer. And I can bend that down just a little bit. It hits the frame up there, barely. I mean, so that'll be easy enough. I'm gonna just heat that and bend it down a little bit. I think the header pipe will work. So I got it lined up about right there. Looks like it's in alignment. Let me get my alignment tool to make sure. So I got the alignment tool on there. And get this thing right where it needs to be, right down the line there. Okay, there we go, right down the middle. So if I can just mark it and drill some holes right there. So got the chain on there, and then the chain guard fits. So now I'll go ahead and get this exhaust to fit first, and then deal with that carburetor. So what's cool about this setup so far is the valve cover, or the engine, is literally right in the middle. Right in the middle of the tire, which is cool. So this is off just a little bit. So I'll be able to bend it over just a little bit and down. So that should be pretty easy. Just heat it right there. So the only way I'm going to be able to use this exhaust pipe without picking up another one is I think I'm just going to have to heat this and bend it down just a little bit to be able to screw on that muffler and clear the frame. And then at the same time I'll be able to straighten it out because it does exit a little bit crooked. Don't need to crank up that hard. And it's nice and straight now, right down the middle. Or straight as far as straight parallel with the frame. We'll see if this muffler screws on here. Hopefully I got it down low enough. Oh man, I just made it. It clears about, what, 1/4 of an inch? So I think that'll work. So we got plenty of room here. Just about right. So the exhaust part was easy. So let me throw this back up on the stand here, and I'll see if I can get the carburetor on there. Super lightweight. So all I really need is a straight intake. So I do have this straight intake manifold, but the only thing is, on this intake, the port size is tiny. I mean, it's a lot smaller than the port on the head. I mean, it'll bolt right on here, but the port on the head's quite a bit bigger than the port on the intake. But I guess I'll just throw it on there for right now, and we'll see what it does. And then later on, I can always pull this back off and port this intake. And at the same time, I can port the head too. If you compare the port, even on the curved intake that was on the other bike, it's got a lot bigger port than the port on this straight one, on the straight intake, but that's okay. Like I said, we'll just try it out. One nice thing about this PZ19 carb, the intake bolts on super easy. You don't have to use nuts like you do on a VM22 because the carburetor itself is threaded. Figure I might as well use my insulator on here. Adds another, I don't know, ½ inch or so to the length of the intake. So for this throttle, looks like I'm soldering a tip on here because it has about 6 inches of cable and I only need like, I don't know, 1.5 inches. So make sure that I get enough heat on this so the tip doesn't fall off. So hopefully I got the right length of cable on here. See if we have some throttle. So I pretty much finished it up. So I'll take it out and get a baseline on it. See if I can get a 0 to 30 and a top speed. And it'll be interesting to see how fast it is with that very small intake. We'll see how it compares to when it had the long intake on it, when it was on the little rascal. So the quickest and fastest times I've had with this engine so far on different bikes is a 7.94 0 to 30, and I had V tread tires on there. And I can't remember the gearing, but I think it was a 75 rear sprocket, and then 49.94 top speed, so right at 50 miles an hour. So we'll see if we come anywhere close to that with this very small intake. I mean, this thing might run pretty good, who knows? I know this bike is super light, so it might run pretty good. And always, I'll be using my Draggy performance meter to measure the 0 to 30 and top speed times, so we get really accurate times. Let me see if I can go beat around 8 seconds with this. I mean, it might, because this bike feels super light. I mean, it accelerates pretty good. Yeah, it seems like it runs pretty good with this intake. Doesn't really hinder it too much. We'll find out here. All right, 0 to 30 with a 98cc on a Mega Moto 8105. All right, there's 30. So we did an 8.06. So it's right up there with the fastest times. Let me see if I can beat that. So it's actually pretty quick with this 70 sprocket. It feels like I could add some more gear to this. I mean, it pulls really good. Okay, 0 to 30. So an 8.04, so we are right there with the quickest times. So let me see what it does for top speed now. So it's actually pretty decent with that short intake. Yeah, I feel like I could use some more gear. Yeah, we're pretty much topped out with gear right here. Yeah, we're pretty much topped out. We need to throw some more gear on this. There's no problem pulling the gear that's on here. The brakes work really well. So I got a good baseline on this bike. It's just as quick as it was before and a little bit slower at top speed, but you can totally tell that it runs out of gear and it pulls really hard with this bike. It is so light, so I definitely can add some more gear to this. So I'm pretty sure I can beat the times that the other bike put down with the same engine. So on the Rascal Light, it did 7.94 0 to 30. And then 49.94 ultimately. And then so far with the gearing that's on this bike now, I did 8.04. So we're right there in the ballpark for 0 to 30. And then we dropped a little top speed, 45.76. So the brakes work really well and there's no issue with the pipe. I was wondering if it was gonna be too close to the seat, but it worked out pretty good. So in the next video on this bike, I have a few things to make this thing hopefully quite a bit faster, or it should be quite a bit faster. And then one of those is changing the gear ratio, of course, because I've ran out of gear.